Hello, Unity Minneapolis. Greetings from my kitchen table. As you may know, this past Sunday, we had the opportunity to do church without electricity, meaning no air conditioning, no amplification, and no live stream, and thus this format for my lesson from Sunday. Unfortunately, you will miss out on the amazing music that was part of that worship experience. Part of the irony here is that the daily word on Sunday was all about divine order. So as we were scrambling to accommodate a service with no electricity, we were all affirming that divine order. The last couple weeks, I was blessed to be away and spending time at my place on Cape Cod. Also, always blessed to come back home, feeling grateful for that opportunity, and also blessed to come back to my spiritual home, Unity Minneapolis. And as you know, sometimes when we are away, we have an opportunity to step back and reflect and come back with some fresh perspective and so forth. And coming back, I had this very clear sense that home is so much more than a physical building. And home for me is about that sense of community, of connection, and of belonging. And so I am grateful for my spiritual home, Unity Minneapolis. Preparing for my lesson, I was operating and feeling this sense of urgency. And urgency not in the sense of panic, but urgency in the sense of importance, and urgency in the sense of wanting to be helpful given what's going on in our world. And then that sense of urgency was ratcheted up with regard to the assassination attempt on Saturday. And I'm really tuned into lately, both within our community and broadly, more so, the preciousness of life. And I'm feeling that the clock is ticking and that we are dealing with some challenges. And while we live within this now moment, within the infinite, we're facing some individual and collective challenges, as well as some existential threats like never before. As a minister, I believe that part of my job is clearly to comfort the afflicted, but also that work also includes afflicting the comfortable. More to come on that in a bit. This month, our focus is on practicing equanimity. And last week, Reverend Tony began the series, and I love her simple definition, equanimity. Simply stated, it's about balance of mind. She also focused on the importance of telling our stories, as well as the importance and the imperative of changing or letting go of those stories that no longer serve us. The bottom line is that the stories that we tell ourselves and tell others create meaning for us as individuals, as well as us as a collective. And not only do those stories create meaning, but they also create our lives. Think about Unity's second principle: thoughts held in mind create after their kind. And stories are nothing more than a collection of thoughts. And we teach and we believe that our thoughts create our reality. So equanimity is described as a state of mental calmness and composure, especially under difficult situations. And by practicing equanimity, we can navigate life's challenges with much greater ease. And I believe it leads to a more balanced, fulfilling, and meaningful life. Specific practices around equanimity include curiosity, mindfulness, meditation, prayer, and self-reflection, all sorts of things that we promote as a spiritual community. Practicing equanimity itself provides some really practical benefits, including lower levels of stress, and we are better able to manage our emotional reactions, especially in those trying and challenging situations. When we are centered, we are better equipped to respond to situations rather than react from our emotional extremes. A calm and balanced mind allows clearer thinking and better decision-making, leading to better outcomes. I often say stress makes us stupid. When we are under pressure, when we are under stress, we are not able to do our best thinking, especially from higher levels that are related to innovation and creative problem solving. A calm mind is more open to new ideas and creative solutions, as it's not cluttered up with noise and anxiety and distractions. And a calm mind leads to healthier relationships with less conflict, as well as better physical health, especially around those stress-related types of illnesses. Many spiritual traditions, including our own, equanimity is seen as a component that leads to and supports that inner peace and that spiritual development. Think about our own strong focus and practice around prayer and meditation. We are better able to tap into our own internal wisdom and our own internal intuition if we're able to calm some of that, and we can seek out and hear that still small voice within for guidance. Equanimity helps to nurture that peace within, that peace that we talk about that begins with each one of us as an individual. And given the state of our world and of this country, I can think of no better time for practicing equanimity than right now. I think the practice of equanimity will become even more important as we navigate the next handful of months. Cultivating curiosity is another specific way or practice that helps leads us to equanimity. Curiosity is simply the desire to know or understand something. It's a fundamental aspect of human nature. It drives curiosity, it drives exploration, investigation, and the pursuit of knowledge. Curiosity can be about a wide variety of things, but it's about discovering new information, and it's also about exploring different perspectives and points of view, especially with folks who might come from a very different point of view or perspective than we hold. I believe that as individuals, we have our own innate orientation around curiosity. Some of us by nature are more curious, and some of us by nature are less curious. No good or bad, just kind of is in terms of that nature perspective. And if you have been blessed to be the parent of at least 2 children, you may have seen some real clear differences in terms of those children as far as their orientation around curiosity, some being more willing to and wanting to explore, others less so. And so I would venture that all children have at least some degree of natural curiosity. And then there are some environments where curiosity is encouraged and others where curiosity is shut down. As a kid, I remember one of my teachers saying to me, "Stop asking so many questions." And that tended to curb some of my natural curiosity. Research tells us that higher levels of curiosity are correlated with higher levels of problem solving, of innovation, and of collaboration. Curiosity is a good thing, and is something that we can cultivate and grow if we choose. Though cultivating curiosity does require developing some habits and mindsets that encourage a desire to understand and to explore. We can nurture and grow curiosity mostly by asking questions of ourselves and of the world around us. And this can lead to deeper understanding and new discoveries. We can train ourselves to wonder and to never hesitate to ask, why? Why is that so? Or how is that? How did this come to be? And what if? What if? What if, for example, there was peace on earth? Being open to new ideas and different perspectives helps us to see the world in expanded ways and discover points of view that we may not consider before. Engaging with people from different backgrounds and perspectives can expose us to new ideas and new ways of thinking. We may never 100% agree with someone, but we can increase our level of understanding, and through that we might even have greater levels of empathy and compassion for their story. But we must be willing to be curious and to listen. Listen with an open mind, listen with an open heart. Practicing equanimity has always been a great spiritual practice, and it will become even more important as we navigate the future. I also believe that curiosity leads to greater levels of understanding, as I've been saying, as well as the possibility of empathy and compassion. So what does equanimity have to do with today? As we look to the next few months and beyond, I am affirming, and I'm inviting you to affirm this with me, I am affirming that all things are indeed working together for good, and that divine order is indeed unfolding. And yet I'm concerned about the state of our world and of our own political climate. Collectively, through consciousness, I believe we have created a U.S. political system that is totally dysfunctional. I see Saturday's assassination attempt as an extreme example of this dysfunction. It seems that our political machine is simply spinning on autopilot. And rather than solving real human problems around healthcare, housing, greed, immigration, climate, and war, there is more of a focus in fighting on demonizing the other, however one defines the other. Vitriol and hate continue to breed more of the same, resulting in little real progress. I believe that many personal liberties are being challenged, perhaps even under attack. In my opinion, there has been an unreasonable focus on other people's bodies and what books we can read, what bathrooms we can use, rather than addressing the real aches and horrors of this country and beyond. During almost any daily news cycle, I find myself and the practice of equanimity being challenged, and with moments where I want to fight and make others wrong. In those moments, I try to catch myself and affirm, peace, be still. Peace, be still. In my curiosity, considering our current state, I wonder how can we individually and collectively navigate this next year? The clearest and simplest solution I can offer is by loving like never before. Loving like never before. Our master teacher Jesus loved fiercely and stood for the inherent worth of every single human being. In his teaching and the greatest commandment, he is very clear about the importance of love. Keep in mind, and this is important, that Jesus was a Jew, mostly teaching other Jews. In the Jewish tradition, it's said that there are upwards of 613 commandments. And yet, Jesus reduced all of those to one: love. Full stop. Given this, I'm pretty sure he was serious about the importance of love and the importance of us loving each other. And this includes loving others that come from very different perspectives. This includes loving others way beyond our church or neighborhood communities, way beyond one's political affiliation. Part of self-love, important here as well, includes setting healthy boundaries about where and with whom we engage. Sometimes the most loving thing to do is to not engage in that conversation with that person, using our discernment and our wisdom about these types of things. As we teach, focus and attention on something creates more of the same, and thus more fighting, more resistance, and hate only create more of the same. We are being called to love like never before. Cornel West wrote, "Never forget that justice is what love looks like in public." Never forget that justice is what love looks like in public. And in the words of one of my heroes, Martin Luther King Jr., darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. He tells us, I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word in reality. I believe that practicing equanimity will be essential to navigating our future, as well as the practice of cultivating curiosity with ourselves and with others, especially with those we disagree with. Come this November, no matter how things turn out, I believe there will be tremendous amounts of healing work that will need to be done. And I believe that we will need to love like never before. In closing, I invite you to take these words in from Clarissa Pinkola Estes. My friends, do not lose heart. We were made for these times. I've heard from so many recently who are deeply and properly bewildered. They are concerned about the state of affairs in our world now. Ours is a time of almost daily astonishment and often righteous rage over the latest degradations of what matters most to civilized visionary people. Ours is not the task of fixing the entire world all at once, but of stretching out to mend the part of the world that is within our reach. Any small, calm thing that one soul can do to help another soul, to assist some portion of this poor, suffering world, will help immensely. It is not given to us to know which acts or by whom will cause the critical mass to tip toward an enduring good. What is needed for dramatic change is an accumulation of acts, adding more continually. We know that it does not take everyone on earth to bring justice and peace, but only a small determined group who will not give up during the first, second, or 100th gale. One of the most calming and powerful actions you can do to intervene in a storming world is to stand up and show your soul. Soul on deck shines like gold in dark times. The light of the soul throws sparks, can send up flares, builds signal fires, causes proper matters to catch fire. To display the lantern of soul in shadowy times like these, to be fierce and to show mercy towards others. Both are acts of immense bravery and greatest necessity. Struggling souls catch light from other souls who are fully lit and willing to show it. If you would help to calm the tumult, this is one of the most strongest things that you can do. There will always be times when you feel discouraged. I too have felt despair many times in my life, but I do not keep a chair for it. I will not entertain it. It is not allowed to eat from my plate. The reason is this: in my uttermost bones, I know something, as do you. It is that there can be no despair when you remember why you came to earth, who you serve, and who sent you here. The good words we say and the good deeds we do are not ours. They are the words and the deeds of the one who brought us here. In that spirit, I hope you will write this on your wall. When a great ship is in harbor and moored, it is safe. There can be no doubt. But that is not what great ships are built for. We are made for times like these. Let us all ground ourselves in unshakable equanimity, and then let us prepare ourselves to love like never before. And so it is.